Robert Eggers has done it again. Look, I'm a giant fan. I've loved his 3 features leading up to this one. I think he's one of the best new directors working today, so needless to say, this was one of my most anticipated films of 2024, and it lived up to my expectations. Like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you're new, check out the rest of the channel and let me know what you think. Let's dive into Nosferatu. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I flat out loved this movie. Full disclosure, I've never seen any iteration of Nosferatu before this one, so I can't speak on how it relates to the 3 that came before it, or even to Bram Stoker's original work on Dracula, but what I can speak to is how much I enjoyed what I saw. From what I could gather, the narrative of Eggers' story resembles that of the original from 1922 pretty closely. The biggest difference from what I could find is the nature of Ellen and Orlok's relationship. In the original, they come upon each other sort of by happenstance. Orlok sees her photo in Thomas's locket and immediately becomes infatuated with her, vowing to take her as his own. In the 2024 version, the entire catalyst of these events that play out is because Ellen and Orlok have a past. Sort of. Ellen at one point admits to Thomas that before their marriage, she dreamt that she married death itself and enjoyed it. This alludes to Ellen having sort of a darker past before finding Thomas. Perhaps a darker side to her than anyone knew. One that may have given in to life's many temptations, and that Thomas taking her as his wife saved her from that. From that point on, Orlok and Ellen have shared a connection, unbeknownst to her. From here, Thomas's boss, working as an acolyte for Orlok, executes a plan to unite Orlok and Ellen in the flesh. And I've gotta say, even having not seen the original, I like this iteration more. I think it helps to add some depth to Ellen, which in turn allows Lily Rose Depp to tap into different emotions in her performance, instead of just sort of portraying a one-dimensional damsel in distress archetype. I also love the fact that her knock was in on the entire ruse as this lunatic cult follower of Orlok's. It adds more nefarious motives to the overall story, and it adds more weight to the drama that unfolds, in my opinion. And there is drama that does unfold. Thomas becomes imprisoned in Orlok's castle, getting fed upon by Orlok at night, having to race back to Weisberg to try and save Ellen. Friedrich's whole family is killed and his life taken by the plague, and ultimately Ellen sacrifices herself to rid the world of Orlok and save Thomas. This movie had me on the edge of my seat the entire time. I saw many critics saying that the narrative was paced too slowly and that the film took too long to get going, but I never felt that. I was really entranced pretty much the entire runtime. The way that Eggers utilizes imagery, lighting, and cinematography to stage scenes in this film and visually progress the narrative forward is impeccable. Something that I thought he really mastered in Northman and The Lighthouse, and it's again on full display here. This is beautiful in its camera work, set designs, and location shots. Hands down, my favorite aspect of the film. The scenes that revolve around Thomas's meeting, eating dinner, and negotiating with Orlok are works of magic. It sets this character up so well, only getting mere glimpses of his actual appearance and features under candlelight. It just adds to this mystical, eerie atmosphere that engulfs Thomas as he enters the castle. And I loved the size and stature of Orlok as well. I know some people had issue with this, I did not. He's just this decrepit, sickly yet hulking figure, and when we finally get a full look at his being, he's terrifying. And the mustache, I love it. I thought it was a cool touch, I don't care. The character gets brought all the way home with Skarsgård's portrayal. That deep, raspy voice, my god, does it fill the scene every time he's on screen. And the entire cast is fantastic. I hadn't really ever seen Lily Rose Depp in much, and she was a revelation. Just an incredible performance from beginning to end. Nicholas Hoult as Thomas, who has been on a tear lately with Juror Number 2 and The Order. Dude really is probably one of the best young actors working today. Willem Dafoe in his third collaboration with Eggers is electric as always, playing Professor Von Franz, a philosopher who specializes in the mystic and occult. Ralph Ineson teaming up with Eggers again as Ellen's doctor is great. Emma Corrin, who has had her career just on fire ever since being in The Crown. She's great here, even though she's not in it that much. And even Aaron Taylor Johnson, who, I'll be honest, I was nervous about. He's not a bad actor, but the guy has only ever done comic book movies and then Bullet Train. But he's good. Really good, actually. Teaming up with Eggers in this film may be a type of redemption for his career, especially after Craven. Every actor involved knew the type of movie they signed up for and the type of movie that Eggers wanted to make, and they brought their absolute A game. I also have to say, the music and the sound design used in this film is perfect. It just adds so much to this haunting, morbid aura that this film carries, and it is incredible. I've always had sort of an indifferent relationship with the horror genre. I'm not really into the classic 80s slasher style films. They've never done anything for me. I tend to think they're goofy, over the top, and just predictable schlock. And that's kind of my opinion on most subsets of the horror genre. But I will admit, my opinion flipped about a decade or so ago because horror films have become something different. They've become more mature than they ever have been. And they started to actually be taken seriously. I remember seeing Sinister in the theater, being drugged there against my will, and was genuinely surprised with how much I enjoyed that movie. Then a horror resurgence ensued with the likes of The Babadook, A Quiet Place, Midsommar, Hereditary, Cabin in the Woods. I mean, the list goes on. And I became a fan. And when I saw Eggers attached to this film, having already directed The Witch and The Lighthouse, I was fully on board. This may be my favorite movie of 2024. It's that good. And Eggers is a force to be reckoned with.